This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time it stands. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles show. My name is Daniel, and I'm the founder of Special Chronicles and a Southern Shriver International Global Messenger of Special Olympics and a Service Ambassador at United in Chicago. This is episode 470 and season 3, part 1 of our Unified at Work series. On Special Chronicles features conversations about the meaning of inclusive employment. The Unified at Work series is sponsored by Bridge, one of United's business resource groups that is connecting people of our abilities. SpecialChronicles.com for links to follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And be sure to also subscribe or follow and rate and review this podcast, Special Chronicles, on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please make sure to hit that subscribe or follow button and leave us a rating and review. It really helps a lot more people out there know about this podcast. In addition to listening to the audio podcast, you can also subscribe to our channel on YouTube and watch the video version of the video episode of this episode. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content. You can find all those links on SpecialChronicles.com for links to subscribe and follow. Our guest this week on the Special Chronicles show and our Unified at Work series is a returning guest. It's our friend Hanna Atkinson from United's Denver hub. So please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Hanna back to the Special Chronicles show. Welcome back, Hanna.
Well, thank you, Daniel. It's a pleasure to be back on again on your broadcast on Special Chronicles. And thank you to you who set this time out of our day to actually talk and learn more about inclusive employment like United Airlines.
Yes, yeah, and I think the last time you were on might have been when you, Renee, and I were on. I forgot when that episode was. I think sometime last year we recorded. But this time we're having you on, as you said, to talk about inclusive employment. So for any new listeners, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what disability you were diagnosed with, your role in Special Olympics. I mean, we both have the same SSIGM role, but what state program you're from and your job at United. Well, we both have the same job, but.
Yeah, okay, so I'm Hanna Atkinson, everybody. I am 27 years old. I have Down syndrome. That's what I'm diagnosed with, is Down syndrome. And I'm 27 years old, and I am a health messenger, along with being a Sargent Shriver International Group of Messenger, like Daniel himself as well. So that was awesome. And as I said before, it's a pleasure to be back on Special Chronicles again. And I just have fun hanging out with Daniel and just enjoy being back on again to Special Chronicles. And I just love what you do, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll have to put links in the show notes where people can go and listen to those past episodes that you were on. During our first sponsor break, I will find that link and we'll put it up on the screen for those of you watching us on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter Live. But when we come back from the break, we'll get into more of your involvement in Special Olympics. For those new listeners, and because we might have a lot of new listeners of all of our coworkers at United, whether they're in Denver or Chicago or any other hub, might be listening and might be new, so they can get to know a little bit more of your story in Special Olympics. And then we'll get into inclusive employment and how you came to become a service ambassador in Denver after the break right here on SpecialChronicles.com. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break from our conversation today to learn how you can become a Special Chronicles supporter so we can continue to produce this podcast. Support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. As an independent public media podcast, Special Chronicles will always be there for you. Now we're asking you to be there for us. As a nonprofit independent media organization, we can only make programs like Special Chronicles with listener support. Our programs provide weekly, candid, honest, and inspiring conversations about the people with disabilities community that creates awareness, support, and advocacy within each week's episode. Listeners tell us our shows are an enjoyable and necessary podcast for the intellectual and developmental disability community and everyone else who is able to listen to stories about life from a different angle. Please, if you and your family love our weekly podcast, make a one-time, monthly, or annual gift of thanks today. Support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give. And now, back to the show to continue the conversation today. And back to the show. Our guest on the Special Chronicles show this week is Hanna Atkinson, and this is episode 470, season 3, part 1 of our unified work series. My name is Daniel, founder of Special Chronicles and the Southern Shriver International Global Messenger. And for those of you who might want to go back and listen to some of Hanna's previous episodes on this podcast, you can go to specialchronicles.com/wholeheartedlyhanna. That's specialchronicles.com/wholeheartedlyhanna. And we'll make sure to put links to that in the show notes on specialchronicles.com. And with that, so Hanna, why don't you begin and tell our listeners about, as I try to pull up the show notes again, how you first got involved in Special Olympics, and tell us about your early years.
So, of course, so part of what I do for Special Olympics, and I totally forgot to mention it before, was that I'm an athlete leader as well in Special Olympics as well. So that is going to be crucial to remember, to realize that I'm an athlete leader. So you might be hearing a little bit about how I am an athlete leader. So for me, for challenges, is figuring out like math and time management, because math and time management is my biggest challenges in life, because it is, which is a good thing. And I found joy by being included in my school years. Oh, actually, I found joy like just being included in general. That's a different, one statement is that I just find great joy in being included no matter what. And then in my school years, I love being in typical classes. I joined school clubs, basically, like drama club, sports teams, like JV swim team. I did that too. So everything that I mentioned right now is also pretty important. Like the JV swim team and the drama club is highly important to me when I was in school. And I also joined the unified basketball team in my high school as well. So that was pretty awesome that I joined the unified basketball team in high school. And then one of my biggest accomplishments is giving the graduation speech at my graduation. So with that being said, with just being included and then being more included in school, kind of tied kind of together. So it's like sisters, basically. Like they met in the middle, if you know what I mean. And then since after I attended high school, I was awarded the Emmy Award. So for my work for Different Stuff and News. So I got my first ever Emmy Award when I was working for Different Stuff and News, and that was one of the biggest achievements yet, is to be an Emmy Award winner. So that was kind of important to me as well, and pretty thrilling too. So one of the other surprising moments was for me is to be a co-author for the Eternal Kindness book that Lady Gaga, that that was by, Lady Gaga, actually. So Lady Gaga was the one who actually made the book with her mother, and I was part of Eternal Kindness. So if you ever want to figure out more about Eternal Kindness, you can definitely get that book about Eternal Kindness. There are 3 stories in there that I have written. My last story that I did in that particular book for Eternal Kindness by Lady Gaga was about the Special Olympics movement, too, because I actually interviewed the chairman, Tim Shriver, in which we both know who he is, too, Daniel, since he is both of our bosses in the Special Olympics movement. So my school year was really positive, and I loved everything I did, including drama club and JV swim team and then unified basketball. It can all go together when you're all in high school. So do you have anything else you want to ask me, Daniel?
Tell us about the sports and Special Olympics that you compete in. And
of course. So right now I'm competing in the ski racing and bike racing too. So I compete in ski racing and bike racing. Right now it's the skiing right now, and luckily enough it's getting kind of closer to my state competition, actually, which is pretty exciting because I didn't tell you yet, Daniel, about my state competition for my skiing yet. So that's going to happen sooner than later for my state competition. So I'm really ready for state competition, and hopefully I can win gold.
Awesome. Well, you have to keep us posted. I'm sure we'll have to have you back on the show to talk about that. But how did you first get involved in athlete leadership programs before becoming a SSIGM? And
of course, Danny, thank you. So I got started in middle school, actually, in athlete leadership, and then I did the youth activation committee. That was after I was in middle school, was when I joined the youth activation committee. So I did a lot with that. I also did a lot of speeches and planning events, and that became into being a health messenger. So I enjoyed doing planning events. Basically, that's what I love. Is to do that when I was part of the youth activation committee. And then after that, when I was becoming a health messenger, like Renee and I we are educating others to be themselves, best selves, basically. So me and Renee are educating other people about being the best selves when it comes down to health and fitness. So that kind of goes hand in hand too there. And then after all that been stated, was that I became a Sargent Shriver International Group messenger. That was after I was being a health messenger. So before I got started with being an SSIGM, which is pretty awesome because you and I were kind of together on SSIGM projects, Daniel. And so that was pretty fun to do that. And then because we can encourage and spread the message of the inclusion revolution as well. That was kind of ties together with being a health messenger. And then after doing that, then we can spread inclusion revolution a lot more than what you think now.
Yeah. One note I want to mention to our listeners, if they want to go back and hear some of our conversations about being a health messenger and kind of inclusive health topics, you, Renee, and I did a few podcast episodes. And if any of you listening want to go back and listen, you can go to specialchronicles.com/health to find those episodes. And then, we're going to go ahead and take another short break. When we come back, we'll talk about inclusive employment and how you came to become a service ambassador at United right here on the Special Chronicles show. We'll be right back on specialchronicles.com right after the break. And hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break from our conversation today to hear a message from our partner. Support for Special Chronicles comes from ComEd. Special Chronicles is proud to partner with the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program. The Energy Force is the country's first energy efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. ComEd is powering lives, and really is powering us here at Special Chronicles to keep the lights on and our technology is powered on. As ComEd powers the lives of us, they're literally giving a voice to people with special needs. We thank ComEd for the generous support of our mission at Special Chronicles. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. And now we return to our conversation. This episode continues right. You're listening to the Special Chronicles show, like you did that as we come back. This is episode 470. This is season 3, part 1 of our Unified Work series. Augustus, we turned in on the podcast is our friend Hanna from the Denver hub for United, and now so the first couple of segments people got to kind of hear a little bit of your story in the beginning before coming to United, your involvement in Special Olympics. But now let's get into talking about inclusive employment. And how did you first, so as you know, myself and Kyle and Z and Lowen, we are the full original Special Olympic Service ambassadors at United in Chicago. So back in 2019 was when this program of all inclusive employment of all jobs as a service ambassador got started, and then 2 years later, they United expanded the program to Denver and to Houston. And so, how did you first hear about this job and this new this exciting new inclusive employment opportunity at United?
Well, yes, and thank you again, Daniel, for that awesome question. So when I first heard about the job and this new inclusive employment opportunity at United, oh, that was the question. I apologize. That's not my answer. Okay, I apologize, you guys. I heard it through Special Olympics and was invited to shadow day at United. So that's when I first heard it was through Special Olympics. I apologize. I repeated the same question that Daniel already stated. So I apologize, Daniel.
It's all good. So you heard about it through Special Olympics and the Job Shadow program. So after that, tell us what after you participated in this Job Shadow day at the airport in Denver, what happened next? Did you have a job interview, or what happened next? Tell us about the training that you did at United.
Yeah, so that was the next then. After I made the connection with Special Olympics, and after they told me about it and was invited to the shadow day, was actually the training day, actually. So what I kind of figured out and learned about how the airport works, basically, and about doing the tours at United as well. And then I did a lot of online training lessons and courses too. So that kind of goes kind of together in the training and what have you. The shadow day was actually really fun. I actually got the chance to see other people doing other things, for instance, helping with passengers, basically helping with getting the passenger to the right spot and what have you, because you don't want a passenger to not miss their flight now, do you?
No.
I mean, I think it's kind of important to remember is don't miss your flight to the place that you wanted to go. To also remember certain things, for instance, we also have to memorize a lot of those city codes too. as well, because that is highly, important to remember is the
Yeah.
city codes and about how to treat other people, too, when you are working at United.
Yeah.
You know that I'm trying to be, not lengthier. I'm trying to, learn to be shorter.
Yeah.
And so with this job that at United, I'm learning to have a very short interactions with people. And that is also very hard as well. But I'm learning and I'm trying to gain that skill. Because after you gain that skill of being short in your interactions, better connections that you make when it comes down to having them to be kind of short. Would you agree
Yeah.
to that point, Daniel?
Yeah, absolutely, Hannah. I agree. It's important to, when we work at our jobs as a service ambassador, whether you're working in Denver or I'm working in Chicago here, we don't have a lot of time to communicate with the passenger. So yeah, it's absolutely important to be quick and but also, like you said, to be kind to them. So after you participated in this job shadow, there was a welcome event where myself and the other OG original Special Olympic Service Ambassadors from Chicago, we came out. We flew into Denver to participate in a welcome event to welcome you and the other new service ambassadors at a welcome event where we answered questions and we helped to welcome you into the United family. So tell us about what it was like to well, you and I have already met, but for the other OG service ambassadors, tell us what was it like to hear from us and about this welcome event that we participated in.
Well, yes, I think it was pretty interesting, and I think it was just fun when I get the chance to see all of you guys. Like, of course, I was surprised, literally surprised that you guys came to Denver, Colorado, and what have you. Because, well, to be honest with you, Daniel, is that it was just very hard to believe that we work for United kind of together.
Yeah.
Because well, we want to be well divorced, basically, and also well inclusive too, because that's part of being included is to be also very diverse in what we do in our jobs, basically. And so I just think, and after you guys came and what have you, I think that we learned a lot from you guys' experience, basically, and how different things, different airports have different things included. Like in Chicago, you might have a bigger hub.
Yeah.
And then from here, it's also a bigger hub too, because, well, it's not an easy place to remember all the locations as well, too, for at the airport, because, well, you know how busy the airports can be, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Because well, it's highly important to remember how busy airports are, and to the fact that, as I said before, Daniel, we don't have a whole lot of time to be with the passengers as much.
Yeah.
I thought so. We have to like keep our job kind of short and kind of clear as well. That's why we have to get them clear information as well. So I think it was just very fun, and I'm glad that you came out, because well, you got a chance to meet one of the coolest people that I know, which is Helene, Paula, and not just Helene and Paula, but you also got the chance to meet none other than my father. And that was something that I will always remember. And so I think that there's always so much to remember from you guys' visit to Colorado.
Yeah. It was an incredible experience, and part of our jobs is to, like you said, it's a busy airport, and there might be some people that might fly a lot and might know where to go, but some people might be flying for the first time or might not have flown in a while. So it's part of our job to help them to know where to go. So I'm sure you probably had a tour of the Denver airport, just like we got a tour of the Chicago hub, and so by you kind of knowing where the different gates are, where everything is in the Denver hub, you're able to, when you're in the lobby or wherever you are in the airport, if somebody comes up to you and says, where is gate B? I don't know if Denver has B2, but where is gate B2, or where's the baggage, or we're able to help them with directions of where to go, right?
Exactly. And I was also going to point out is it's the bigger impact makes the best things possible, Daniel. Yeah. And you know that for sure. And I know that there was so much to be said about that. And I did say that we can be kind to all people, and to the fact that one of the things I also like doing is the briefings. I just did one this morning, actually at 9. I forgot to mention that on the broadcast. I did a 9:00 briefing, and I memorized a lot of the city codes, but I don't have them all memorized. But I'm getting there on that. And then I also enjoyed working in the BSO, so the baggage surface area, too. Because, well, that's a lot to do in one day, as well, when you work at United Airlines by doing like briefings, and then after a briefing, then you can look at your United emails, and then you get started working with passengers, and then the BSO, like the baggage surface as well. So I just think it's just very impactful. What do you agree or disagree?
I absolutely agree. Yeah, it's definitely impactful to work in different parts of the airport and interacting with customers. And I'm sure that you and I and the other service ambassadors we all make a great impact with the customers. So out of everything that you and now it's been, you started last October, so now it's been 4-5 months, 4-5-6 months that you've had your job as a service ambassador at United. So what do you enjoy most about your job?
Well, I liked everything. So as I said before, about working with the passengers, that's one enjoyment I have. To enjoy all to be kind to all employees too, because the employees are super very kind, because everybody is so kind here, which is a bonus too. And then I did say that I enjoy working with Holly, Helene, and Paula too. I also had Courtney as well. When I first got started, but now it's Helene, Paula, and Polly right now. They're pretty incredible people on that. And then one of the other things that I also love doing is the big takes too. I forgot to mention that about the big takes, because when you do the big takes, you ask like 3 questions. Like, for instance, you ask about, where are you going? Basically, is this big over 50 pounds? So those 2 I remember is the oversized luggage, where are they going, and is this your bag, basically, and is this you? Is the other questions that you also have to ask the passengers when you're doing the big takes, because that's highly important to ask those 3 questions. And then, as I said before, I did a briefing this morning, and that is an amazing enjoyment, is to do briefings when you come into work at United Airlines, and it's just worthwhile to do a briefing. And then after that, like, one of the other things I enjoyed is working at the baggage office area, because then I'm like interfacing with the passengers. Like, for me, I like being with passengers, because you and I both like to talk, right, Daniel?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's
So,
why I'm behind a microphone. Yeah.
because that implies our job is that we always have to communicate with all people at the airport, and you have to like be, where everything is, and not just where everything is, but also safety is highly important as well. That's why we have the words "I own safety." It's highly important to be safe at the airport. No matter what you do, you have to make the right choices, because your choices will determine the rest of the day when you're working at United Airlines. What do you agree or disagree, or do you have different thoughts than I do?
No, absolutely. As you know, one of the things that we loaned is the coal full at United, and safety is number one, and then it's safety, caring, efficient, dependable. I think I might have hopefully I think I got that right. Safety, caring, efficient, dependable. I might have mixed that up a little bit.
That's totally fine. Like, I know the order is not perfect, but I think you have the terminology perfect there, Danny, because it does say caring, safe, dependable, and efficient.
Yes,
because that's what I have to do.
So of that colorful, safety is number one. So I'm glad that you highlighted that to everybody. We're gonna go ahead and take another short break. When we come back, we'll get into some plugs of how people can get involved in Special Olympics or the local program, and a question that I always include these conversations with others. Well, you've answered that final question in the past, because you've been on the show a few times, but we'll get into some final thoughts and on that final question after the break right here on specialchronicles.com when we continue. Hey, friends, podcast listener friends. I'd like to take a brief moment to let you know about how awesome StreamYard is. StreamYard is the easiest way to create professional live streams. StreamYard is a live streaming studio in your browser. Interview guests, share your screen, and much more. Stream directly to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and other platforms. Sign up for StreamYard and get $10 in credit with our referral link at specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. That's specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. You see the link right below on the screen here, and also will be in the show notes in the description below. But all of us at Special Chronicles, we love StreamYard. I've got a coffee mug I'm drinking coffee out of. Got a t-shirt on. I've got a sweatshirt. This StreamYard Puddles plush duck. Puddles the duck here in the studio, and just really love it. Makes really love StreamYard. It makes it easy to connect with guests. Just send guests the link to join StreamYard, and easily have a professional logo and banners and graphics, and it just makes it easy to pre-record, to live stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Really love StreamYard. It's helped to make the audio podcasts and the video versions of the audio podcasts that I've been doing for the past 13 years. It's helped to make the video versions up to the next level, to a more professional level, while also making it easy to live stream. So all of us at Special Chronicles love StreamYard. Once again, if you want to sign up with StreamYard, specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. That's specialchronicles.com/StreamYard to sign up and get $10 in credit with our referral link. I hope you all will sign up for StreamYard, and happy live streaming. And until then, sign up for StreamYard and get $10 in credit with our referral link at specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. That's specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. And now back to the show. We're back. Guest on returning guest on the Special Chronicles show is our friend Hanna Atkinson, fellow Southern Shriver International Global Messenger. And this is season 3, part 1 of our Unified at Work series, where we feature conversations about the meaning of inclusive employment. This is episode 470. My name is Daniel, founder of Special Chronicles. And so, Hanna, before we get into that final question, we always conclude with we're getting into some plugs on how people can get in touch with you and get in touch with Special Olympics. And but first, we want to remind our listeners that the Unified at Work series, that this Unified at Work series is sponsored by Bridge, which is United's business resource group connecting people of all abilities. Which for those of you watching the video, the live stream video on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter Live, you see on my connecting people of all abilities today at United. Oh, am I frozen a little bit?
Yeah, you are frozen a little bit, Daniel.
Oh, I think I am frozen a little. Oh, there, I'm back. Okay. So as you see on my show, if you're watching the live stream video version, Bridge, United's business resource group that's connecting people of all abilities. You can book your travel today at united.com or on the award-winning United app. So we want to mention that. And then if our listeners want to get involved in Special Olympics, specialolympics.org. And if you are in Colorado, how can people get involved in Special Olympics Colorado, Hanna?
So what you guys can do to stay informed in Special Olympics Colorado is you can go to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for Special Olympics Colorado. You can also go to the website, specialolympicscolorado.org as well. You can also find me at wholeheartedlyhanna.com. That's my business email. My business website is wholeheartedlyhanna.com. And you can also find me on Cooking Health with Hanna videos. Also in the Inclusive Health program for Special Chronicles. You just say Special Chronicles / Cooking Health with Hanna video. And then there will be a playlist with all the previous Cooking Health with Hanna videos still. So if you want to do a plug for that, Danny, you can if you want that.
Thanks. I got to put that. I think I might be frozen a little bit, but I forgot to put that banner up, and I will go ahead and do that right now. For those of you watching the live stream, specialchronicles.com/cooking health with Hanna is where you can go to watch Hanna's cooking videos. Specialchronicles.com/cooking health with Hanna. You'll see a video playlist with all of those episodes there. And wholeheartedlyhanna.com. If people want to, what can they do on your business website, Hanna?
So they can look at my website. You will see archives of what I have been doing. I want to be requested as a public speaker. So if you know any place that I can speak or have requests from anybody, please contact wholeheartedlyhanna.com and let me speak to you as well, because I will take any speaking engagements they may have for me. So as I said before, go to wholeheartedlyhanna.com. And if you have any United questions, please contact me and Daniel as well. Yeah. And we will try our best to answer any of you guys' questions regarding United Airlines to the best of our abilities.
Yes. Yeah. And also I'll make sure to put links to Hanna's website, wholeheartedlyhanna.com, in the show notes on specialchronicles.com/podcast470. That's specialchronicles.com/podcast470. You'll find links to where, if you want to book Hanna to speak at wholeheartedlyhanna.com, as well as to whole cooking videos, specialchronicles.com/cooking health with Hannah, and as well as the previous episodes, specialchronicles.com/wholeheartedly Hannah for those previous episodes, as well as to specialolympics.org, where you can get involved in your local program. Before we get to the final question, Hannah, you've been on the show in the past, but any final thoughts on your overall time here today on the Special Chronicles show? And in particular, this is season 3, part 1 of our Unified at Work series.
Awesome. And yes, so I'm valued to be at United Airlines. It's an honor to be working at United Airlines because it is an honor to be working here. And it is my favorite place because it is my favorite place to be at United Airlines. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So woohoo, yay, congrats on that. So that's good. And then I just like to say that United Airlines is like a third family to me. So thank you for just letting United Airlines to be my third family, and thank you for letting me to be on, Daniel. And I do have a question for you after you ask me about the final question of the day.
So we'll have you turn the microphone around after the final question. But first, okay. I love what you said about how United is our third family, because we've got our own individual families, and then we have our Special Olympics family as our second family, and then now United is our third family. So I just love how you put that. So to introduce that final question, we've got a bumper. So let's go ahead and roll that bumper.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
equality,
dignity, and the recognition of our shared humanity.
We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So that final question is, ever since the Abu Dhabi Daily Show, and ever since you and I and our fellow SSI GMs came back from the Abu Dhabi World Games, I've been asking this question, and so we'll conclude with it as well, which is, what does inclusion mean to you?
So what inclusion means to me, you guys, is to value one another, and not just value one another, but also be respectful of one another too, because, well, to be honest, we are just humans and that we are not perfect. And I know that I said that many times, I believe, in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Daniel, if I said that before or not. And if not, then that's fine. But I do know that you have to show respect and to be kind to all people, because, well, we are just humans, and yes, we do make mistakes, like I did before in this broadcast today. I was trying to make no mistakes at all. So hopefully we'll just be kind and just be caring too, because, well, we just want to be caring and appreciated as people. So I just think that inclusion is just an everyday thing to have. So please, as a final plug for the Inclusion Revolution, please join us, because Inclusion Revolution is highly important, and we also deserve to be equals, because we are equals.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be an equal than to be divided too. So let's break down the wall and not be divided, and just be really all, and have our minds to be opened to inclusion.
Absolutely. And if you all want to join us and join the Inclusion Revolution, you can, like you either heard or saw in that bumper, you can sign the inclusion pledge at jointherevolution.org. I believe we got that correct. So before we let you get back to the rest of your workday, Hannah, as you all coming to us live from the Denver airport, United Hub, but you wanted to turn the microphone around before we wrap up this episode.
Yes, so I was going to ask you, Daniel. I know that I made one mistake by repeating myself a little bit, and also asking that question before I answered that question as well for you. So could you make sure that when you edit the broadcast, to not have me to be repeating my answers and to not repeat that same question that you asked me earlier?
Absolutely. So is that your only question, or did you have another surprise?
That was the one that I had, because I realized that I repeated myself a few times, and I just want to make sure that you got the information that you were looking for, and that I made all my points.
Yeah, well, you did a fantastic job on this episode. It's always a joy to have you on this podcast, and I'm sure we'll have to get together with our fellow SSIGM Winnie, and we called another three-way episode, three host episode with you, Winnie, and myself. So we'll have to figure out what that topic is going to be, what that podcast topic will be, but we'll have to get the three of us on another episode of this podcast. So if you want to, we'll put links to how you can get in touch and book Hanna to speak. And again, for this episode, this has been episode 470. You can visit specialchronicles.com for links to follow Special Chronicles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And make sure to also subscribe and or follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Also subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. You can find all those links to subscribe to our podcast, sign up for our newsletter, follow us on social media. All those links to subscribe and follow are on specialchronicles.com. Once again, specialchronicles.com. And the Unified Work Series is sponsored by Bridge, one of United's business resource groups that's connecting people of all abilities. United.com is where you can go to book your travel today. We'll be back next week with the next episode of season 3 of our Unified Work Series. We were on the job with Denver's Special Olympic Service Ambassadors. We'll be back next week with another Unified Work episode of the Special Chronicles show on specialchronicles.com. So until then, have a great day. We have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Remember, choose to include. See you next week. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Shows podcast. Visit specialchronicles.com to follow Special Chronicles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified of new episodes. Also, subscribe to our newsletter mailing list to sign up for our updates and get exclusive content delivered to your inbox. Remember to do what you do with these podcasts. Subscribe or follow and rate and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Finally, please share this episode and all of our podcasts with your friends and family. Help us grow our audience and reach 5,000 downloads of our audio podcasts and over 14,000 average monthly listeners. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week with exciting new guests. See you next week.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.